sky didn't tear open with thunder. It screamed. In the heart of New York, people looked up as reality itself folded inward, metal shadows falling through a wound in the clouds. Cars stopped, sirens died, and then the ground shook, not like an earthquake, but like something choosing to arrive. A towering metal figure landed in Times Square, eyes glowing blue, voice echoing like a vow. "We do not come as conquerors." Before anyone could breathe, another portal flared open. Fire ignited the air, stone rose from the streets, and 4 humans stood ready. 2 worlds, 1 city, no idea who the real enemy was. Optimus Prime straightened, scanning the unfamiliar skyline. This world's energy signature was unstable. Too many experiments, too many fractured dimensions. Around him, Bumblebee transformed, weapons armed but restrained. Ratchet analyzed local signals, disturbed by readings he couldn't classify. These weren't Decepticons. This wasn't Cybertron. Yet the tension was immediate. Across the plaza, Reed Richards adjusted his visor, stretching his neck slightly as he analyzed the massive robotic beings. "They're sentient," he said calmly. Johnny Storm hovered above, flames dancing along his arms. "Sentient or not," he replied, "they just crushed half a city block." Ben Grimm cracked his rocky knuckles. "Yeah, that's usually where the talking stops." Sue Storm stepped forward before anyone attacked. Invisible force fields shimmered briefly around civilians, guiding them away from danger. "No one fires," she said firmly. Optimus noticed. Protection, not aggression. That mattered. He lowered his weapon slowly, optics dimming slightly in respect. "We seek knowledge, not war," Optimus said. His voice carried weight, ancient, tired, honest. Reed's eyes narrowed, intrigued. "Then you chose a dangerous way to arrive." Before Optimus could answer, the ground beneath them pulsed. Energy rippled outward like a heartbeat. Johnny flinched midair. Guys? That wasn't them." The city lights flickered. Something else had followed them through. A second rupture opened beneath the street, not in the sky. Purple energy crawled upward, bending steel like paper. From it emerged a massive construct, half machine, half living energy, feeding on dimensional instability. Ratchet's scanners spiked. "That thing's draining this planet's power grid." Reed's face went pale. "It's using our negative zone experiments as an anchor." Ben growled. "So this is on us." Optimus turned instantly, stepping between the creature and fleeing civilians. "Autobots," he commanded, "defensive formation." Johnny ignited brighter. "Fantastic Four," Reed said quietly, "we fix this. Together." No one argued anymore. The creature struck first, releasing a shockwave that sent Bumblebee skidding across asphalt and slammed Johnny into a glass tower. Sue caught him with a force field just in time. Optimus braced, taking the blast head-on, metal armor screaming under the strain. Ben charged anyway, roaring as he punched into the creature's core, only to be thrown back like a pebble. "It's adapting," Reed shouted, stretching around falling debris while typing calculations into a wrist device. "It's learning from every hit." Ratchet fired precision shots, not to destroy but to slow. Optimus realized something quickly. "Then we must not fight it like warriors," he said, "but like problem solvers." Reed and Optimus locked eyes, scientist to commander. "You think like I do," Reed said, surprised. Optimus nodded. "War taught us the cost of force without understanding." Sue reinforced shields around the city block while Reed and Ratchet exchanged data at impossible speeds. Bumblebee zipped through collapsing streets, rescuing civilians with mechanical gentleness. Johnny redirected his flames, superheating the air to disrupt the creature's energy flow without feeding it power. "I hate holding back," he muttered. Ben wiped dust from his face, grinning. "Yeah? Try being the guy who can't." Despite the chaos, something unexpected formed between them. Trust. Fast. Necessary. Real. The creature reacted violently to cooperation. Tendrils lashed out, striking Optimus and wrapping around Reed mid-calculation. Sue screamed, reinforcing a shield around Reed's body as the tendrils crushed inward. Optimus grabbed the energy limb, straining as sparks flew. "Reed Richards," Optimus said through the effort, "your mind may save this world. Do not let it break you." Reed gritted his teeth. "Funny," he replied, "I was thinking the same about you." Johnny surged forward, channeling flame through Sue's force field to cauterize the tendril without harming Reed. It worked. but the creature roared, destabilizing further. Ratchet discovered the truth buried in the noise. "It's not invading," he said. "It's starving." Reed froze. "You mean it's feeding because it's dying?" Ratchet nodded. "Dimensional collapse displaced it. This city is the nearest power source." Optimus lowered his weapon again, even as the creature thrashed. "Then it is not evil," he said. "It is desperate." Ben stared at him. "You're kidding, right?" Optimus turned slowly. "On Cybertron, desperation destroyed worlds." Sue swallowed hard. "Then we don't kill it," she said. "We help it go home." Silence followed. Then Reed smiled grimly. "All right, let's do the impossible." Reed worked furiously, recalculating a negative zone gateway while Ratchet adjusted Cybertronian stabilizers. Sue expanded her shields to contain the creature without suffocating it. Johnny regulated heat like a living reactor, sweating but focused. Ben anchored the structure, bracing against dimensional recoil. Optimus stood at the center, speaking to the creature, not in words, but in calm presence. "You are not alone," he said softly. The creature slowed, its attacks weakening. Energy pulses softened. It was listening. Reed shouted, "Portal's ready, but it needs a power surge." Optimus didn't hesitate. "Then take it," he said. "From me." Energy surged from Optimus Prime into the gateway. Ancient power drawn from 1,000 battles survived. His system screamed in warning, but he stood firm. The portal stabilized, glowing steadily now. The creature hesitated, then moved, slowly, carefully, toward the opening. Sue guided it gently. Johnny cut his flames. Ben released his grip, and with a final low resonance that felt like gratitude, the being crossed through. The portal sealed. The city went quiet. Optimus dropped to one knee, systems dimming. Reed rushed forward. "He gave too much," he said. Ratchet was already there. "He will recover," he assured. "But he will remember this world." Emergency crews arrived to a city still standing, scarred, but alive. Civilians stared in disbelief at robots and heroes standing side by side. Optimus rose slowly, meeting Reed's gaze again. "Your world is powerful," he said. "But power without balance invites ruin." Reed nodded. "We're learning that lesson, repeatedly." Johnny floated down, offering a crooked grin. "So, no hard feelings about the whole, almost fought each other, thing?" Bumblebee chirped cheerfully in response. Ben crossed his arms. "You big metal guys ever need backup, you know where to find us." Sue smiled softly. "You protected our home, that matters." Optimus bowed his head in respect. Before departing, Optimus turned back. "There are others like me," he warned gently. "Some would not choose peace so easily." Reed's expression hardened. "Then maybe next time," he said, "we'll be ready together." Ratchet transmitted coordinates, data exchanged between worlds. Knowledge shared, trust earned. As the Autobots prepared to leave, Bumblebee paused, looking at the city lights. He tapped Optimus lightly, then transformed and played a short radio clip, hopeful music echoing briefly across the plaza. Johnny laughed. "I like him." Optimus allowed himself something rare. A smile, in his own way. The portal opened once more, quieter this time. Controlled. When the Autobots vanished, the Fantastic Four stood alone amid the aftermath. Reed looked at the repaired skyline, calculations already forming. They weren't just warriors, he said thoughtfully. They were refugees. Sue placed a hand on his arm. And teachers. Ben exhaled. "I still don't like that something that big can just drop into our world." Johnny shrugged. "Yeah, but at least this time, they didn't come to take it." High above, satellites recorded faint residual energy, proof it had all been real. Somewhere beyond the stars, Cybertronian systems recalibrated, and two teams, born of different worlds, carried the same lesson forward. Survival isn't about strength, it's about restraint. Across the cosmos, Optimus reflected on Earth, a world fragile and fierce, brilliant and reckless, not unlike Cybertron once was. "They remind me of us," he told Ratchet. "Before the war." Ratchet nodded. "Perhaps that's why this mattered." Bumblebee gazed out into the stars, radio humming softly. They had not won a battle. They had prevented one, and that, Optimus knew, was rare. Back on Earth, Reed archived the data under a single file name. First Contact, Mutual Survival. Sue looked at it later, smiling faintly. "We weren't alone," she said. And for the first time in a long while, that thought didn't feel frightening. It felt hopeful. Weeks later, the city healed. Repairs finished, news cycles moved on, but sometimes, late at night, Reed would detect a faint, familiar frequency in deep space, steady, watchful. Johnny claimed it was interference. Ben pretended not to care. Sue knew better. Somewhere out there, giants made of metal remembered them. And if the sky ever screamed again, if reality tore once more, Earth wouldn't face it blindly. Because now, the universe knew something important. When worlds collide, destruction isn't inevitable. Understanding is an option, and sometimes the greatest battles are the ones that never happen. Legends formed quietly. Online forums whispered about the Metal Guardian and the day heroes didn't fight. Kids drew pictures of towering robots standing beside human silhouettes. Reed reviewed those images once, thoughtful. "That's how it starts," he said softly. Sue raised an eyebrow. "What does?" "A bigger story," he replied. Somewhere beyond known space, Optimus Prime transmitted a final log. "Earth is not weak," he recorded. "It is young." He paused, "and worth protecting." The log ended, stars stretched ahead, and the Autobots rolled on, changed, just slightly, by 4 humans who chose understanding over fear. The universe remained dangerous. It always would be. But in that brief collision of worlds, something rare had happened. No domination, no conquest, just cooperation under pressure. Reed would later say it was the most important equation he ever solved. Sue would remember the moment fear gave way to trust. Ben would remember standing back up after being thrown aside, choosing to keep fighting anyway. Johnny would remember holding back power when it mattered most. And Optimus Prime would remember a small blue planet that reminded him why he first took up the burden of leadership, not to win wars, but to end them. Stories like this don't end with explosions. They end with echoes, in science labs, in distant star systems, in choices made differently because of one shared moment. Somewhere, a future threat hesitated, calculations changed by data from Earth. Somewhere else, a hero paused before throwing the first punch. That was the real impact. Not the battle avoided, but the mindset shifted. The Autobots and the Fantastic Four never met again. They didn't need to. What they shared stayed with them. Proof that strength doesn't always announce itself with violence. Sometimes, it speaks softly and saves worlds anyway. If the universe ever tells this story, it won't start with the portal or the fight. It will start with a decision. One leader lowering his weapon. One scientist listening instead of reacting. One team choosing restraint over instinct. That's how histories truly change. Not in fire, but in pause. The day metal giants faced Earth's first family could have ended in ruin. Instead, it became a reminder. Even across galaxies, even between beings of steel and flesh, the same truth applies. Survival is not about who hits harder. It's about who understands first. And so the universe moved on, slightly better balanced than before. A city stood, a world learned, a war didn't happen. Somewhere, engines hummed through starlight. Somewhere else, a lab light burned late into the night. 2 teams, forever connected by a moment when power bowed to wisdom. If fate ever brings them together again, it won't be as strangers. It will be as allies who once stood at the edge of disaster and chose, together, to step back.